Firearms episode. That was no lady.
And good evening. I am going live to read some of the comments to the ATF stabilizing brace comment period that started June 9th, 2021 and ends September 8th, 2021. It's a 90-day comment period, and according to what we're seeing on the screen here, we have 87 days. I'm going to go ahead and increase my screen size so that everybody can see the screen a little easier. I'm at regulations.gov/ATF-2021-0002-0001. So this is the second comment period for the ATF. There's another one running at the same time for definition of a firearm. Good afternoon or good evening. If you would give me a sound check. I got a lot of fans running, and I'm hoping that the microphone is working okay. I'm recording this live because it'll be a live product. The content will end up being long. And it's a lot easier than recording it and then posting it separately. So we're looking at regulations.gov, and we're at the stabilizing brace comment period. I don't know what to call it. And all right, I'll just go ahead and listen to it here, make sure that we get volume. Maybe they didn't hear me. And there's some kind of lag. And maybe I've got a bad connection. Maybe this is recording, maybe it isn't. So we're going to be reading some of the comments for the stabilize and brace comment period, and I'll be doing it without commentary. As of now, there are 33,500. Sorry to stop you on here. 35,500 comments received as of yesterday, and then there's only 404 comments that have been approved. Found that interesting, and that's why I figured I'd go live, because usually when there's a lot of boilerplate in there, and when there's fewer like this, only 400, I figure we have a better chance of seeing some valid comments. So I'm heading over to the comments page, and I've sorted it from newest to oldest. And if I look at some of the comment IDs, we have 352, 355, 363, 364. So they look like they're the most recent. I'm going to go ahead and open the first bunch. Only 400 of them. I can't read 400, I guess, but I can read a bunch. So I'll probably read everything on this first page here, or at least open everything on this first page and see what kind of sample set we get. So I'm right-clicking on each of the comments, and I'm opening them in a new tab, which is opening a bunch of new tabs across the top of the page as we go here. And I heard that the audio was coming through, but I don't know how bad the fans are sounding. So if there's anybody listening, give me some feedback on if those fans are too super loud. And we're still opening new comments in new tabs, and we finally got to the bottom. It says displaying 1 of 25, so it looks like we just opened up 25 comments. We'll go to the first one. It's comment number 352. It says, hello, my name is Mark L. They have the whole name, but I'll just read the first. I am an LEO in Nebraska, and I felt compelled to comment on this matter. I believe that further regulating a commonly used firearm, braced firearm, is a dereliction of your duties, as you swore, just as I did, to uphold the Constitution. The right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. For the brief time I've been in law enforcement, I have not once come across someone using a braced firearm to commit a crime. I must compel you to uphold the oath you took and not pass this criteria. Thank you. When you speak, I can hear your voice sound like it's fluttering, like you're talking into a fan. Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, thanks for the feedback. I'm going to try turning off some of the fans then. The one that is making the most noise, I'm going to try turning it off. Okay. All right. There's still one that's making noise, but it's 105, so we're gonna have a fan going. But thanks for that feedback, Echo. Echo is a dude out in Florida who does reloading chats. Okay, so the next up is comment 063. I would like to make a comment to the fact that under the Second Amendment, the United States citizens have the right to own and bear firearms. Whether a firearm is equipped with a stock or some sort of brace makes no difference in the weapon itself. It doesn't change the aspects of whether or not it can shoot around faster, slower, or in some automatic fashion. To ban them is to restrict rights of individuals, millions of people across the country that own them and have equipped their weapons, to turn them into felons. To make a simple modification which makes no difference to the aspect of the weapon, in turn, law-abiding citizens, criminals, is in itself a criminal act and should be prohibited. Okay, thanks for the feedback, Echo. I'm trying not to add any commentary. This is the first 25. When I jumped in this evening and saw that there were only 404 comments, I figured it's a good time to jump in and grab some that weren't going to be boilerplate. I've also noticed that the people that are encouraging their people that are watching their content to comment are suggesting to write unique comments. So that's interesting. The next one is, I'm going to have to drink something of them. The next one is 0364. This extension of suppression of our gun rights will directly target law-abiding citizens and does absolutely nothing to make our country more safe. It seems this rule is being suggested just to ensure that SBRs are unobtainable by low-income Americans, despite the fact that a 15-inch barrel is no more dangerous than a 16-inch barrel. The suggested worksheet is absolutely absurd, and if I need to make an Excel spreadsheet to determine if I am committing a felony or if I'm abiding the law, then something has gone horribly wrong. The next comment is 0367. This one looks like boilerplate. It says REATF 2021-000. Sorry about that. 0002-0001. I do not support, nor should the America people tolerate further regulations to our Second Amendment rights. The BATFE is not a legislative body and should not be dictating law via redefinition of terms. The proposed rule would turn millions of otherwise law-abiding Americans into felons unless they were to comply with what many consider to be unconstitutional regulations via a non-legislative body. As for pistol braces themselves, a manufacturer's stated intent on the use and function of a product is theirs to define, and in no way should we assume that a government agency should be able to usurp that claim based on how a consumer may use that product. As for the proposed registration of firearms with or without braces under the NFA, such registration does nothing to stop crime, prevent, or even deter crime. If the overall narrative to enact this proposal is to save lives, then statistically it will save very few, as braced pistols are very rarely used in shootings. I encourage all interested parties to take the focus off the tool and instead focus on the root cause issue at hand, driving factors of crime and murder. The tool used is quite irrelevant when considering a person's willingness to take another person's life maliciously. That should be the driving force beside government actions. But rather, we are now faced with proposals that do nothing to stop crime, but literally create it unless a person is willing to forfeit their inalienable right to protect themselves how they see fit, as well as their right to their lawful, at this time, property. We saw with bump stocks, courts may very well side with the American people on this issue if the proposal is enacted, but how many lives need to be needlessly ruined before this governing body realize they broke their promise to protect and defend the Constitution? My screen keeps blinking, so I'm not sure if it's blinking on y'all's side or what's happening with that, but I'm not sure if that one was boilerplate or not. I'm trying not to comment. I'm trying not to add commentary. The next comment is number 372. This is an absolute power grab by the U.S. government. Stop infringing on our Second Amendment rights. Disarmed citizens are not citizens but subjects. Do yourself a favor and read the Bill of Rights and quit wasting time on issues like this and instead work to legalize marijuana. Oh, and the ATF shouldn't exist in the first place. I need to put my phone real quick. The video keeps cutting out. No blinking, normal live stream. Okay, thanks again for the feedback. I do appreciate it. Okay, the next comment is number 376. Stop trying to harm the average gun owner. These new regulations come from your hatred of the Constitution and the Second Amendment. Shame on the ATF and anyone who approved this nonsense. Disgusting. Next comment is 377. This is for ATF 2021 R-08. I have read the proposed new guidelines and find them both confusing and arbitrary. The worksheet appears to have been designed to be vague and open to interpretation while making certain common accessories illegal. For example, I myself like a long length of pull on my brace as I have quite long arms. My fiancée has rather short arms in comparison and requires a short length of pull to fit her. This proposed change says that adjustable braces are much more dangerous when in reality it is just a device trying to provide accessibility to people of different body types. Another example is the statement that a brace has more points on the worksheet if it has material added for people to shoulder the pistol, and thusly if the brace has devices to prevent shouldering, it has less points. What is extremely bothersome is the fact that there is no definition given for what constitutes added material or what constitutes a brace designated to prevent shouldering. How am I supposed to follow the law if there is not an exact definition of what is legal and what is not? And if I do not know how the officers of the law enact their duties, or how will the officers of the law enact their duties? Unless they are just supposed to use their judgment, which is an entirely subjective thing that could get me sent to jail just because that officer didn't like my shirt or the color of my skin and decided that brace is designed to be shouldered when another officer wouldn't see a problem. Please reconsider these changes to keep from needless confusion, heartbreak, and law breaking. Thank you. Next up is number 0381. ATF 2021 R-08. How do these accessories, there's two parts, A and B. The first one, A. How do these accessories or attachments make the actual caliber of ammunition more deadly? And then B. How does the proposed criteria to reclassify a firearm as an SBR deter someone who is hell-bent on creating havoc and harming people? Okay, the next one is comment 0374. The new proposed arbitrary and confusing rules on braces directly affects me and tens of thousands of other disabled Americans because of a combination of spinal, two words that I don't know. I have trouble holding a full-size rifle. I am using an arm brace on what is termed a pistol, but is the exact same firearm as one with a full-size stock, makes it possible for me to continue to exercise my constitutionally protected right to hunt and compete in shooting sports. Please reconsider implementing these proposed rules. Overnight, many disabled Americans will be denied the use of an assistive device by either confiscation of their firearms or else must pay a tax on their legally purchased and owned firearms. All right, I'm going on to the next one, but I gotta move my leg. I should have done this before I started, sorry. I tried sticking it through this thing and it didn't. Next one is number 378. The Second Amendment is enshrined in our Bill of Rights and protects a God-given right to own firearms for the protection of oneself and liberty. The proposed rule to create a point system and regulate the use of braces on pistols is opaque, confusing, and violates the Second Amendment by transforming law-abiding citizens into criminals at the stroke of a pen. Braced pistols are not used in crimes in large numbers, and creating an incomprehensible system whereby unelected bureaucrats can simply decide arbitrarily what constitutes an illegal SBR and change the definition without congressional approval is illegal and unconstitutional on its face. Rescind this proposed rule immediately and create an open and transparent process for evaluation of firearms and accessory designs for production approval. Next up is number 0384. The proposed criteria are capricious and willfully harmful to millions of law-abiding citizens. The flip-flopping on pistol brace criteria goes to show the problem is not owners of legally purchased firearms. It stems from a convoluted bureaucratic system. These new regulations will not reduce crime in any meaningful manner as gun owners purchased firearms accessories based on an approval from ATF in the first place. The manner in which these regulations will haphazardly create felons overnight is unacceptable. Next up is number 387. The point system is largely a horrible way to determine whether something is a rifle or a pistol. There is no justifiable reason to change the current standards. If anything, they should be removed completely. Next one is 0392. As an American citizen, I am concerned about the never-ending attempts to restrict my Second Amendment rights. Stabilizing braces do not make firearms any more dangerous. I do not agree with the proposed rule to categorize firearms with stabilizing braces under the National Firearms Act. The next one is number 0395. How many times do we need to teach you this lesson, old man? Next one is comments 400. Comment number 400. The job of the ATF is to enforce laws that made by Congress. When enforcement agencies are allowed to alter existing laws bypassing Congress, then what is the point of having elected officials? These new definitions of existing laws will only affect the law-abiding citizen and do nothing to address the problem of criminals who by definition don't obey the laws. Instead of making more criminals of law-abiding citizens, why not enforce the current laws and get the criminals off the streets? Simply put, the ATF can change all the definitions they want, and we, the law-abiding citizens, will not comply. Next up is number 0402. This is a long one. The proposed factoring criteria is discriminatory to disabled firearms owners around the country. It unfairly treats those that use brace pistols for competition and self-defense. Disabled firearms owners would have to choose between registering their pistols as SBRs or putting a brace on a full-length rifle, which is unsafe and entirely impractical. Handicapped shooters should not be discriminated against and forced to register their braced pistols as SBRs. The proposed ATF worksheet 4999 is arbitrary on many fronts. The minor indicator set by the ATF, where a weapon could be fired from the shoulder, makes virtually every single firearm score 1 point by default in this arbitrary point system. Any person can take any pistol and fire it when it is placed on their shoulder. Additionally, the ATF worksheet 4999 is ambiguous and almost entirely arbitrary. There is no clarity on what is considered a shoulder stock design feature is. A sticker that says "Do not shoulder" could be considered a feature to discourage shouldering. There is no clarity on what could be considered useful for shouldering a firearm. There is no clarity on how to know if the materials added for shouldering. Material added to a brace could simply be used to make the brace more stable when properly used. There is no clarity on how to know if an adjustable or telescoping attachment is designed for shouldering. In order to grip some pistol-braced firearms safely and comfortably, it has to be adjusted to the user's length of arm. On the worksheet 499, a split stock configuration gets 3 points, but a cuff type gets 0 points. There is ambiguity. You know what I'm saying. There's ambiguity. I can't say that word. Or surrounding if you have a cuff type design that is also split at the bottom. There is no clarity on how to tell it's intended to wrap around the shooter's arm. Length of pull is measured for stocks, not for pistol braces when used properly. This measurement will change as you move a stock brace from one firearm system to the next. There is ambiguity surrounding what system is being used to calculate these measurements. There is ambiguity. Why can't I say that word? Surrounding how to determine whether or not a strap is too short to function because arms come in all shapes and sizes. There is no clarity on how to distinguish whether or not a pistol brace accessory was modified for shouldering or for some other reason. The ATF has been very particular in specifying that hand stops are not indicators of an SBR. Additionally, hand stops serve a function as a barrier stop where you can more safely stabilize the firearm on an object to shoot one-handed. The worksheet 499 is assigning points to those that use sights and also assigning points to those that do not use sights. I didn't know that. The 499 also assigned points to those that use a reflex sight with FTS magnifier with limited eye relief, but not to those that use something such as a scout scope with longer eye relief. There is some ambiguity surrounding the definition of limited eye relief. Any person can shoot a firearm one-handed with a sight scope. So this automatically gives every firearm with a sight or scope 4 points, therefore making every firearm an SBR by the ATF's proposed factoring criteria. I'm trying not to leave any commentary on these comments. Thanks for that. Oh, you know what? That's a good thing. I'm going to go over here and put up my little thingy to let people know that I'm only able to do this because of my Patreons. I'm not independently wealthy. In fact, I'm basically about to lose the house. So I do appreciate everybody that supports in any way, shape, or form what we do here. I'm going to try not to comment and continue going. The next one is comment number 405. This is the most arbitrary set of rules I've ever heard of, and you'll just make millions of normal Americans into felons despite a complete lack of evidence lack of evidence that these braces are a problem. The next one is number 406. This is a ridiculous attempt at taking more of the American people's Second Amendment rights away. We all see what you're doing. It's unlawful and wrong. Next one is comment 0371. This entire rule is crazy. Either make pistol braces legal or not. We do not need to add some convoluted worksheet to the rules to figure out if your pistol is a felony waiting to happen. This is just adding needless complexity. Personally, I'm on the side of pistol braces should be legal, end of story. This is like saying scopes are illegal if you have too high or low or too high of a low or low of a magnification. It's arbitrary and obnoxious. The last thing we need is our tax dollars going to fund something so needlessly complicated. This looks like was another long one. Maybe a train. Sorry about that. There's another. I guess there's some people out there. Welcome to everybody who's listening. I try to do these for people that have trouble finding these things to read them or just reading them in general. And I'm doing these without any commentary. This is comment number 385. The proposed rule factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces provides no more clarification than the previous rulings on the matter for the general public. The establishment and creation of the point system found in Form 4999 is based on arbitrary and subjective criteria. While the criteria listed may be somewhat defined, there are many contradictions, and the 4-point value system of the form is difficult for interpretation by the general populace. An example of where the form is contradictory and confusing in nature would be the fact that 1 point may be tallied for having sights or having no sights present on a firearm. The determination of how a brace can fit around an individual's arm is completely subjective and would totally depend on the body shape and size of the individual who is attempting to utilize the brace pistol. This form will lead to the carte blanche creation of millions of felons overnight, with the vast majority of the populace being totally unaware that they are committing a crime by owning a legally purchased item. This rule also states that even if a firearm does not accrue 4 points in a particular section, that it may still be ruled an SBR based on the intent of the maker, manufacturer, or user. This type of clause is impossible for a citizen to comply with, as it is not possible for a consumer to understand the intent of a manufacturer or maker. By using the low-end estimate of 3 million braces sold in this document, the ATF has drastically undercounted the possible number of legal brace owners and therefore the number of criminals that will be created overnight with this rule's passing. Like the criminal impacts of this document, the economic impacts are severely underestimated. The economic impact will greatly exceed $100 million and will likely cause effects of over $1 billion in damages within the next 5 years due to loss of jobs, company closures, and impacts on sales numbers overall. These items have been staple sales items since the original SB 15 was approved by the ATF and has been on shelves of every FFL, big or small, over the last 8 years. This rule does not promote public safety and will not lessen crime in any noticeable rate. In fact, this proposal will actually increase crime by its very nature due to creating criminals out of law-abiding citizens with the stroke of a pen without the approval of Congress. I respectfully urge the ATF to reconsider this ruling as a citizen and taxpayer. Thank you for your time. Next one is comment number 0386. Having read through this document, everything seems arbitrary. How do you plan to regulate what people have already bought that was legal at the time of purchase? The next one is comment number 0398. ATF 2021 R08 is an absolute sham to turn millions of currently law-abiding citizens into felons overnight. Your true goal is to create a national database when citizens are forced to turn their pistols into SPRs. I truly hope this disgusting and unclear proposal is withdrawn. Go after real criminals instead of turning law-abiding citizens into easy-to-persecute felons. The next one is comment 356. This proposed rule change would effectively turn millions of Americans into felons overnight. The AFT has already stated that pistol braces are legal. Why change? It wouldn't make anybody safer, especially since very few crime are enabled by braces. And then the last one in that first page of 25 that we've opened up is numbers 401. This proposed rule would have a negative impact on my life and the lives of my children. The AR-15 pistol is a commonly owned and used firearm in the modern shooting sports world. With the aid of pistol braces, it is possible to assist small children and adults of lesser strength to shoot an AR pistol, as they are commonly a little heavier and difficult to manage. I do not see any benefit to this points-based clarification spreadsheet, as it is overreaching and impossible to comply with. The objective nature of the ATF's classification process gives you the power to say anything and everything is an SBR. I do not support the ATF adding more firearms to a national registry, as we all know that road leads to confiscation. Please retract this proposed rule and leave law-abiding gun owners alone. Thank you. All right, well, I am certainly stoked after reading that. So I'm going to end this one, and I'm going to start up another one where we will do some comment, or we will have some commentary on the comments. So without adding any more commentary to this video, we read the first 25. As it stands, I'm looking at the wrong one. As it stands, the stabilizing braces have 33,500 comments received, and just 404 have been approved as of the time we're recording this. We just read 25 of the most recent, and we're going to end this broadcast, start another one right away, and read some more of the comments, this time with commentary. I appreciate your joining in live. Leave some comments if you'd like. Thanks for watching.